Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Welcome to my channel Study with J.K. Durrani. Today our next lecture is about the Elizabethan age, which is known as Elizabethan age, as well as Shakespearean age, and as well as Golden Age. As we know that after the death of the Chaucers till Elizabethan age, we haven't got any special work, any special activity, such as this period from Elizabethan and Chaucer age is known as Barren Age. Mean nothing good activity, good research, good authors were not produced in this period. That is why this age was Barren Age. Two names were very famous in this period, just as Thomas Wyatt and Henry Howard, all for survey. Thomas Wyatt, he told about the sonnets to English. He taught sonnet, and the second one, he taught blank verses to the English words. In this period, the famous poetry, the famous English poetry books were published, especially such as Tottel's Miscellany, which was one of the famous poem book, in which various authors have contributed their contributions in this poem, in this book, by the name of Tottel's Miscellany. So various authors were there. This was not just written by one person, that we should say. No, different, especially they introduced sonnets in this book, in this poem. We can say Tottel's Miscellany. Poems were there, and as well as odes were there. So, moreover, the first William Shakespeare, who wrote almost 154 sonnets, and which were published in 1609, though William Shakespeare didn't want to publish these sonnets, but he published just for his one friend by the name of William Herbert, third Earl of Pembroke. He published for him just these 154 sonnets in 1609. And especially, moreover, we will have about two various poems as well, such as Venus and Andonosia we had, and as well as Andonosia 19, and the second has his. I meant to say that he has written two main poems as well in this period, such as Venus and Adonis in 1593 and the Lap of Lucrece in 1594. These are just poetries in the Elizabethan age. Later on we will discuss about the dramas. Next we have Edmund Spenser, poet, who is known as the poets of the poet. The poet's poet. And his one of the main, we can say, or great poem was published in the 1579 by the name of the Shepherd's Calendar, which was published in 12 books in 12 months. Each month was publishing each his poem, his book. And he has written almost 88 sonnets, such as main two odes as well. He has written by the name of Epithalamion and as well as Prothalamion. And his main of the famous work, that was the Fairy Queen. As we know, is one of the greatest work and greatest achievement of his time. The Fairy Queen poem was written by Edmund Spenser. He introduced Spenser's stanzas in this poem, which contains 9-line stanzas, and rhyme scheme was quite changed as compared to others, such as ABA, BBA, and BBC. Kind of rhyme scheme was introduced in the Fairy Queen. Our next is Sir Philip Sidney. Arcadia was one of the famous works of his time, and he wrote almost poems, prose, and as well as famous essays. And the next one was Sir Walter Raleigh, and as well as our next one is Ben Jonson. As we know about the Ben Jonson, that he also used various works And the next group is university wits, which contains of the 7 members of the 7 main authors in this group, such as John Lilly, Christopher Marlowe, Robert Greene, Thomas Nash, Thomas Lodge, and as well as George Pilley and Thomas Kids. A group of intelligent authors. And one of the main work of John Lilly was Euphus, as well as the it was a long and lengthy line formula was used in this work, and which different alliterations, similes were included in this work, in this poem. Our next one is John Donne. Beautiful sonnets were introduced by him, as well as considered as metaphysical poet, and his poetries were quite complicated. Poetries were written by John Donne. Next is Sir Francis Bacon, who is considered as the father of essays, he's an essayist, and his essays were published in 3 periods, such as 1597, 1612, and 1625. His famous essays, such as Of Truth, of Love, of Study, of Parents and Children, of Marriage and Single Life, of Anger, of Death, of Revenge, these were his main essays of his time. Ben Jonson was also inspired from Sir Francis Bacon, so he also tested himself to write an essay by the name of The Timber or Discoveries, though it was quite matchable with the essay of the Sir Francis Bacon. Sir Ben Jonson gave his contribution in literary criticism too. And in this age, they struggled to translate the Bible as well, and main person was William Tyndale. In spite of glory poetry, sonnets, odes, this age became much popular, or known as Golden Age, just because of the dramas and the plays, such as been the regular poetry. The regular comedy play was Ralph Roister. The regular comedy play was Ralph Roister, written by the Nicholas Udall, and as well as the I meant to say that the comedy play was Ralph Roister, and the tragedy play was Gorboduc, written by 2 authors, such as Thomas Norton and as well as Thomas Sackville. That was their first tragic play, written in the black verse. University wits, apart from Shakespeare, university wits also played vital role in the dramas. They produced important playwrights in the Elizabethan age. I meant to say the main figure was Christopher Marlowe, who just wrote tragedies, tragical playwrights in his period, such as Dr. Faustus, Jews of Malta, where they introduced black words, and he made popular the black words usage in the dramas, in the plays. And we will see over here that our next dramatist was Thomas Kyd, who wrote tragedies too, such as Old Hamlet was his one of the famous work, where Shakespeare changed and introduced, intimated in their works. Shakespeare, he intimated various works from university wits, and he became actor in London. He wrote plays almost for the Lord Chamberlain's men. He didn't continue his work regularly on one track, such as only comedies. No, initially he introduced comedies, such as Comedy of Errors was there. Then he introduced histories in his work, then again comedy, then tragedy comedy, then collaboratories. Collaboration usage was introduced. That is why many authors till today, they are quite confused that being a single man, he introduced various works in his periods. And after William Shakespeare, we will have another name. Let's see. That was Ben Jonson. We will have over here our next person, our next dramatist who introduced his works and great achievements and great dramas introduced in this period. That was Ben Jonson. He gave to English literature such as Comedy of Humours. Similarly, he wrote various comedy plays in this period. And famous dramatist, another famous dramatist of this period, that was John Webster. we will have his name in our presentation in this work. John Webster, who wrote The Duchess of the Amalfi, a great drama of his, a great plays of John Webster, and various works were authors were there, such as Thomas Dekker, Thomas Middleton, Thomas Haywood. So this period was considered one of the most important period of English literature, though the same period, Elizabethan age, was that is why known as, because Queen Elizabeth was the head of the England in this time, and that is why considered as golden age, because the dramas and the works of this period were quite outstanding, got great name, great history. That is why they changed the name of Elizabethan to golden age. And the third name, William Shakespeare, Shakespearean age, that was known because Shakespeare brought great changes, great works in this Elizabethan age, and he took Elizabethan age to the peak. The main figure, that was William Shakespeare, along with other authors such as Christopher Marlowe, Thomas Caird, Ben Jonson, and Sir Francis Bacon. Every author has his own contributions, distributions in this period. So this period is considered one of the most important periods of the English literature. Hope so you have got this Elizabethan age. Thank you so much for watching and listening this lecture. Hope so we will see in our next lecture. Wassalam.